I don't know.
There's been a pretty big discussion online, right? And I want to make like my position as well very clear. I do like this was clear domination from Khamzat, very similarly like you, Rob, to fights with Merab. I found it fascinating. It was like to see someone like Dricus that has had quite significant wins against some of the best middleweights to ever do it, right? To see him get ragdolled like that for 5 rounds.
So utterly.
It's just, it was like, I was like, I was having an out-of-body experience. But we do need to talk about the reaction that a lot of people are having online, saying that this was boring. I pirated this and I want my money back. Like, there's been a lot of debate. Like, that was a pretty funny comment, I'm not gonna lie. But
yeah, that's a good one.
are you like, what's your like reaction to people saying that this was a boring fight?
Anyone that says it's a boring fight is a casual. Okay, no offense. No offense. Like, you're going to take a little offense. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you're casual. And if you're fans of the cast, then I'm sorry as well. Please don't unsubscribe. But man, if you're a fan of the sport, okay, and you're not absolutely fascinated by the ability, like by Chimaev's ability to control someone who's as dogged and fights out of things like Dricus, who's done it time and time again, who's physically never gasses anymore, like super strong, has cardio for days, is prepared for him, has a great headspace. If you're not fascinated by like such a one-sided domination, man, then you have to be a casual, because you never see this, never.
Hi, Casual over here. That fight was not fascinating. Guys, before we continue, welcome to the video. Another quick clip from Mr. TDC. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. I really appreciate the comments in the last 2 videos. It really gave us some very good momentum. But please do some more, share this video, talk to your friends, bring them to this channel. Let's have these conversations in the comment section, or maybe one day when I go live. But I really want to address this video with Robert Whitaker giving his analysis of the fight between, in the main event of UFC 319, between Dricus du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, as you guys already saw from the video, Rob seems to think that anybody who calls that fight boring is a casual. Yes, sir. Casual right here. There's a reason why I call this channel The Dumb Casual. And one of the reasons is this. I don't care too much about technical stuff sometimes when I want to talk about MMA. When I watch it, I love the technicalities, but when I talk about this, I couldn't really care less about how technical it was. I care about how it made me feel, and I also care about if I have value for my money or bang for my buck, right? Casuals don't care about technicalities. That is why when a fight like that is happening, you could even tell there were people booing in the crowd while the main event at UFC 319 was happening. People were booing. Why? Because casuals, when we pay money, we want to come in there and see a decapitation. And a decapitation is not pretty. It's disgusting. It's raw. It's violent. The fight between Dricus du Plessis did not really have any of those elements. Maybe from a technical perspective, you could say, you could give it some merits on technicalities. But even that can be questioned, and I'll tell you why. Guys, think about it this way, right? Khamzat Chimaev is on a supreme level when it comes to his wrestling skills. Do we agree? Great. Is Dricus du Plessis on the same level as Khamzat Chimaev when it comes to wrestling? The answer is no. Is Dricus du Plessis even a good wrestler? The answer is no. Is Dricus du Plessis a spectacular striker? The answer, again, is no. So, in all these aspects, Dricus is not on the same level with Khamzat Chimaev. So, that's like almost saying, and no disrespect, right? But that's like almost saying you put a brown belt with a 4th degree Dan. Don't get me wrong, things can happen in a fight, but there's levels to this thing. There's levels. Dricus was the champion, but Khamzat went in there and showed that there are levels. There are levels to it. So if someone is on the same level as Khamzat in his wrestling, would you really be fascinated if that level of skill set in wrestling goes in to completely ragdoll somebody with Dricus du Plessis' level of wrestling? No. Why would I be fascinated about that? Let me give you a hypothesis. Hypothetically speaking, think about this, guys. If, again, hypothetically, if Khamzat Chimaev at 185 was to face prime Khamzat Chimaev at 185 was to face Khabib, prime Khabib at 185. What do you think that would look like in terms of the wrestling? Do you think Khamzat can ragdoll Khabib with Khabib's level of wrestling? Do you think Khamzat could have been able to ragdoll him the way he ragdolled Dricus du Plessis? If Daniel Cormier fought at 185 in his prime with Khamzat at 185 in his prime, do you think that Khamzat will be able to ragdoll DC the way he did Dricus du Plessis? I can throw in Islam Makhachev at 185. Again, hypothetically. Pound for pound wrestling skills with all these guys. Arman Sarukian. Do you think Khamzat Chimaev would have been able to ragdoll all these guys in their prime if they fought at 185? The answer is no. However, if someone on Khamzat's level goes in, fights a wrestler on the same level as him, or a wrestler with the same skill set like DC, these prolific wrestlers like Khabib, Islam, Arman Sarukian, and Khamzat ragdolls that level of a wrestler, then I would be fascinated. I would not be fascinated by Khamzat ragdolling somebody on Dricus's level of wrestling. It's just what it is. And can we start to put some respect on the casual name? The Casuals. This seems to be a title in the MMA community that's supposed to shame some people. No, I'm owning that casual name. I'm owning that title. And I think every casual out there should own that, because every casual is important to the sport. Guess what? I can guarantee at least 80% of the tickets being sold at UFC events are not technical people. Guess who they are? They are for or from the casuals. So there's nothing wrong with being a casual. And casuals don't like boring stuff. We want to see excitement. Okay? You want to talk about an exciting, fascinating fight. Bruh, go back all day, every day. Israel Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum. There were no winners, but it was exciting. Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. Won. How exciting was that? Go and look at every single Michael Chandler fight. Exciting. All. Look at every Charles Oliveira fight. All exciting. Win or lose. Right? That's how it's done. John Jones versus... I know. But hear me out. John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson won. That's what you call an exciting fight. And there are many examples to do that, to give. Max Holloway, even when Max doesn't win, even when Max loses, every single fight with Max is not boring. Unfortunately, Rob, the fight with Dricus and Khamzat Chimaev, while it was not a boring fight per se, it certainly wasn't an exciting fight either. and there's a reason for those boos. Okay? So put some respect on the casual's name. Besides that, I love Rob. I enjoyed the analysis from the beginning to the end. I just thought to put this video out there to, you know, share my thoughts, okay? Mr. TDC is out. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and engage in the comment section. I will see you guys on the next one. Mr. TDC out. Peace.